SCHD is the most popular dividend ETF in the world right now, with some people basing their entire personality off of it. But how much would it actually take for you to live and retire off of SCHD alone? Just imagine being in your 80s with your wife who's not in your 80s, receiving and living off of SCHD dividend payments alone. So today we'll be doing a few calculations of how much it would take to actually live off of SCHD dividends. And guys, I'm bringing back the challenge. For every like this video gets, I'll put $1 into SCHD. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. We promote real man's investing on this channel, actually looking into businesses before we invest. And of course, roll the intro.
Hello, I like money.
Alright, let's take a brief look at SCHD's current dividend statistics, and they're currently trading at a pretty juicy dividend yield of 3.55% with an annual dividend payout of $2.60. I think SCHD's dividend growth is one of the more amazing things with the ETF right now, considering the high yield they have. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 12.33%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 13.92%, and a 10-year dividend growth at 11.32%. And while I do think that dividend growth is really impressive right now, I don't expect that to continue as aggressive in the future. They are reconstructing their portfolio right now into some lower yield, higher dividend growth companies, which I think long term is the right move for the ETF in general. I'd expect that dividend growth rate to be around 8 to 10%, a little less aggressive right now, but hopefully long term it averages out a little higher, plus 10%. Keep in mind, SCHD's actual stock price performance has underperformed the S&P 500 by a little bit over the last couple years. But of course, if you're buying SCHD, you aren't going to be buying for the capital appreciation. You're hopefully buying for that good total return with the juicy dividend you get. We can see over the last 5 years, total return speaking, including dividends, SCHD and SPY are pretty much the same, with SPY slightly outperforming. SCHD this year compared to SPY is underperforming, mainly because of SCHD's higher exposure to banks, healthcare, and other industries that have been underperforming the market so far this year. So how much would it actually take to live off of SCHD dividends? Right now, the average household in the United States spends $61,334 a year on expenses, and for a single person, I would consider that a pretty comfortable income. You can live a somewhat comfortable lifestyle with that money if you live somewhat smart and frugally. Obviously, if you have like a girlfriend or a family, this expense will be much higher, but we're just going to assume that you're a single person, you're living that lifestyle, so your number is going to be $61,000 to be financially free. If you were to look to buy SCHD at today's prices, it would take you 23,461 shares to hit that $61,000 annually in dividend income. Annually, as speaking every year. That means today, if you wanted to live off those SCHD dividends, you would have to invest $1,718,283.64 into SCHD right now at today's current prices. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have $1.7 million in the bank. How much would it cost every month if you were to invest, and how long would it take? Let's dive in. Alright, for these projections, we're moving over to dividenddata.com, and to start off, we have to input the current stock price of SCHD, which is $73.27, the annual dividend, the expected dividend CAGR. Now, obviously for SCHD right now, it's in the 12 to 14% range, and I put it at 7%. I don't expect it to be that aggressive over this time. I went really conservative on this projection, but I expect the dividend CAGR probably to be a little higher than that 7% that I put in. Realistically, it's probably in the 8 to 12% range, but I put 7% just to be conservative, just to be on the safe side. Expected stock price CAGR, I put it at 8.2%, which is slightly under the S&P 500 right now. And I did for the annual investment amount, I did $520, which is $100 every week. I put that in as a monthly investment, and this is assuming that we're reinvesting our dividends until we hit that financial freedom of the $61,000 goal that we're at right now. So this projection is just assuming that we're investing $100 into SCHD every week. We could see that over the first 10 years, our annual dividends would be $3,100, and we could see over time, over a 35-year time horizon, our dividend yield on cost goes from 3.81% to 22.27%. This just displays really how compound interest and the dividend snowball works as we continue to dollar cost average, reinvest our dividends, and even with the conservative growth estimates that I put in for the dividend and capital appreciation, we come out at a total annual dividends earned at $48,630.35 over a 35-year time horizon, and that's even on the conservative side. I think if you're looking to live off of SCHD dividends, and if you're on the younger side, it's very, very achievable. Now, $48,000, I think it's a livable income if you live a really frugal lifestyle, but as I mentioned, if you're a single person, if you're like me, you want to enjoy the luxuries, you want to enjoy a Starbucks coffee, you want to, hit the subscribe button, you want to check out dividenddata.com, you want to be able to pay that monthly fee without feeling a little guilt. Unfortunately, I'm aware that most of you watching this don't have 35 years and time on your side right now, so we're going to double that monthly investment to $200 every week in SCHD, and we're going to see the difference it makes. And we can see over that 35 years, if you continue to buy $200 worth of SCHD every week, your annual dividends you'd get every year would be near $100,000 at $97,260.67 with a dividend yield on cost of 22.27%. That's incredible. And we can see over a 30-year time horizon, your annual dividends would be at $61,000. That 5-year difference between 30 and 35 years is nearly $35,000 in annual dividends if you continue to reinvest the dividends. That just shows the power of compound interest and overall long time horizon, how it can really work to your favor. To display this even further, we got to look at a graph. We can just really see how over time that annual dividend income, really between that 25 and 35 year range, just completely exponentially grows. This growth is even with the conservative growth estimates that I put in for the dividend growth rate as well. It's really just crazy to see what reinvesting dividends can do for you. And we can also see the difference between reinvesting without reinvesting dividends on the far right there. With reinvestment, you're going to get close to $1 million over 35 years, but without, you're over close to $500,000. So what's the recap of the video, and how long will it really take for you to live off of SCHD dividends? If you don't want to be patient, you don't have 35 years on hand, and you just want to have a ton of cash and you want to live off of SCHD dividends alone today, it would cost you $1.7 million worth of SCHD right now. With that said, if you have good time on your hands and you have a little bit of money to spare every week, SCHD, the retirement, is very, very doable. Now, would I put all my portfolio into SCHD right now? Probably not. I think SCHD is a great alternative, and if you hold it, reinvest your dividends over a long period of time, you'll do really well. With that said, people whose entire personality is based off of the S&P 500 index will say SCHD is a bad investment and that it's underperforming. When you look at total returns over time, SPY, yes, it does outperform a little bit, but I think if you're the real dividend investor, you want to live off those dividends, SCHD is a very solid option. If you're like me and you like to play around with the growth estimates and all that, go check out dividenddata.com. That is the tool that I use for today's video. If you find one good stock and do research, it will save you not only a lot of time compared to free resources online, but it also could make your investment back. If you've made it to this part of the video, I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord link in the description, smash the like button, subscribe, and of course, do dividend stocks, not drugs. Have a good one.